Hello and welcome everyone. Thank you very much for tuning in. This is a screencast-o-matic presentation and recording for the part of the lesson that has us analyzing whether or not voter registration should be automatic. Before we get started, please let me encourage you to open up to the correct part for today's lesson, and please be advised that you're going to answer the key concept questions that appear in the chart and then provide your personal opinion at the bottom with detail. Let's go ahead and get started, and remember you can replay any part of this presentation for clarity later. Should voter registration be automatic? The number of Americans who voted in 2018 set a record for a midterm election. Even with the higher than usual turnout, just half of those who were eligible to vote actually cast ballots. Compare with other democracies, the United States has a long and low voter turnout rates. One possible way to increase the number of people voting is to make it easier to register to vote. Some states have started automatically registering those eligible when they apply for a driver's license. Two public policy experts, one at a liberal election reform organization and the other from a conservative think tank, debate whether making voter registration automatic in this way is a good idea. So let's go ahead and get to the first part of the argument here, the yes side. Voting is the foundation of American democracy, and registering to vote is one of the first steps toward participating. Registering to vote shouldn't be a stumbling block to electing representatives or supporting policies that we believe in. That's why we should make voter registration automatic. With the technology that we use in our everyday lives, we can make registering to vote as simple and efficient as liking a friend's post online. The process is called automatic voter registration. It allows you to register when you first get or when you renew your driver's license. The Department of Motor Vehicles, or DMV, will inform you that your information will be used to register you to vote unless you say you don't want to. No one has to get registered to vote, but in some states you can even pre-register to vote at the DMV when you're 16 or 17, and then automatically become registered when you are 18. In 2016, Oregon became the first state in the nation to implement automatic voter registration. More than 390,000 new voters registered as a result, and in 2018, 62% of eligible voters cast ballots, up from 53% in 2014, the previous midterm election. Registering to vote can be as simple as liking a friend's online post. Automatic voter registration is more efficient because your registration information is electronically transferred to election officials instead of being sent in paper form. Streamlining the process saves money, makes the voter rolls more accurate, and could add an additional 50 million voters to the rolls permanently across the country. This is a nonpartisan policy that is popular in both red states and blue states. In the past 5 years, 16 states and the District of Columbia have approved using the approach to register eligible voters. Young people are eager to get involved and have an impact too. The government shouldn't stand in the way with an outdated registration system that makes accessing the ballot more complicated than it needs to be. Automatic voter registration offers a new way forward that can open access to voting and improve American democracy for all. So that was from Mirna Perez of the Brennan Center for Justice from New York University. Let's go ahead to the other side of the argument here and focus on the no side. And here we go. Most public-spirited Americans agree that voter turnout rates are lower than they should be, but expanding automatic voter registration will do little to fix that. About a third of states have in place some form of automatic voter registration, and while some have seen an increase in the number of registered voters, evidence of a spike in turnout rates is modest at best, and that's the measure that really matters. The reason automatic voter registration won't make a big impact is that it targets the wrong problem. The problem in the US isn't that there are too many barriers to casting a ballot. The main reason so many Americans don't vote is that they think voting's not important. People should be willing to put up with some degree of inconvenience in order to exercise their right to vote. This is, after all, a right for which countless people have died throughout the centuries. And yet there are many who would wait an hour in line at Apple Store who would not wait 30 minutes outside the voting booth. So, to restate this, the problem isn't that it's too hard to vote, it's that Americans think it's not important. We should think of registration as part of the act of voting. The act of voting derives its value from being a free act. You vote because you want to or believe that it's your duty, and similarly, there's value in having to freely or deliberately join the voter rolls. When you're registering to vote, you're making plans to vote, perhaps even beginning to put some thought into what you'd like to vote for and why. Registering to vote is the way of setting down roots in a community and affirming your commitment to that community's civic health as well. We should investigate all serious allegations that someone has been wrongfully prevented from registering to vote or from casting a ballot, and all reports about incompetence on the part of election officials. But we're thinking about civic participation the wrong way if we're focused on formal barriers to voting instead of the barriers that lie within our beliefs, desires, and habits. So that was from Stephen Ide, who is a senior fellow of the Manhattan Institute. So for this part of the lesson now, I would encourage you to please fill out that chart and then also type in your opinion to explain to me where you stand and why on this particular issue. Thank you very much for tuning in, and good luck with completing the rest of the lesson.